Hi everybody. So welcome back, and today's YouTube is on science, and we are going to move away from now our one plant that we've been studying about, and we know a lot about the plant. It was our bean, and we learned that it came from the seed, and that inside the seed a baby embryo was already in there and it needed some activation to start growing. And we learned all about the germination process. And then we watched the photosynthesis process happen and we planted it. And now we're watching our plant grow. Some of you are watching my plant grow. And so that's all good. So today I want to take you away from just that one plant, keeping all that knowledge we've learned, because I'm building like a ladder. We start from the bottom and we learn all the way to the top. And right now we are going to move into an area where we're going to look at lots of different kinds of plants and animals and people that live together in different places. So the first thing I want to have you have ready is you're going to need all those science papers I sent through, and there is a lot of them this week, but it's good information for you to have. So first of all, have your science sheet here. Have your definition page ready to go. Have your fill in the blank science ready to go. And then there's 6 of the word searches. Have them ready to go as well. Those are important. And always have your pencil ready. And then we'll begin our study on habitats, ecosystems, and biodiversity. Big words. Okay, are you ready? Okay, I'm ready. So let's take a look then. So the first page we have out here is, it has habitat, that's the word, then ecosystem, and then biodiversity. Big words, we're going to define them, and I want you to write the definition in on those lines. And these are the definitions. Now these aren't in the same order as these are. I wanted you to be listening well, I wanted you to be reading, and to fill it in as you know it, okay? So we're not going to take the time to write it in together, but you can always pause the video. You can rewind and listen to the instructions again if you like, okay? So let's talk about these 3 big new words that are really important in our study of plants. Habitat, that's our first word. Everybody say that with me. Habitat, yeah, it's a good word. This word means, and you want to have your definitions ready in front of you and see what I'm reading from, okay? And so you might want to write the word habitat next to the definitions, so when you're ready to write that definition out onto this paper, you're ready to go. So a habitat, just think of it as a very large area of land, or even a province or a state or even a whole country. It depends on the size. And the habitat has a specific or a distinct features to it. They have specific features, like landforms are very specific. So if I said something to you like a mountain range, whoa, you can pop that into your mind right away, because we have studied landforms in class. And so I know you know a little bit about this, and so we're building from our previous knowledge finally into the science that you're learning about in the next 2 weeks. So a habitat then is a large area of land. It has specific or distinct features, meaning landforms to it. And so there's 6 of them that we're looking at here. One's a rainforest, a grassland, which is like a prairie land. The desert, well, you can picture the desert right away. It looks very different than a grassland or a rainforest. Or just a forest habitat. Or how about an ocean habitat, or a tundra? The tundra is up north, everybody. It's more towards, let's see, the Yukon and the Northwest Territories. That is where tundra landscape is. It's quite flat, and the plants are different and the animals are different there than in other habitats. Each habitat has its own animals and plants that exist there. Okay, so think of, again, a habitat's a big, large area of a specific shape of land or climate to it. Okay, so the next word then we're going to take apart is ecosystem. Wow, that's a big word, ecosystem. Well, a system is an organization, right? Like the shape of the day at school is like a system of what events are going to take place in order, and then you can see what our system or shape of the day is for school. Well, think of ecosystem as a system of plants and animals and people that exist and live together in that space. It's a little community. So I don't mean like a Walnut Grove sized community. It could be, but it also could be bigger than that. And it lives inside that habitat. Okay, so an ecosystem is a community of plants and animals and people that exist in the same place, and they actually coexist. They live together and they work well together. Okay, so that's an ecosystem. So find that definition and make sure you identify that for your writing. And the last word is biodiversity. Yeah, diversity. Well, we've heard that word quite a bit. We can say diversity is almost like saying multicultural. And we have Canada is a multicultural country. And that means we have diverse people here. Diverse means just different. Everybody is different and everybody has a different background. And even in our own classroom, we've talked about the backgrounds of families where people originally started coming from, your grandparents and such. So in a plant world or animal world, biodiversity just means a lot of different types of species. So many types of species of living things that live together in the same place. So that is biodiversity. Bio is biological. That means the study of plants and humans and living things, right, and animals. So biodiversity. Diversity is just different, okay? So instead of having one thing that lives there only, you have many, okay? Biodiversity, many, many types of species and living things. So you can pause, you can write those in on those lines. I really want you to do that because it'll help you to know the definitions. You're going to need to know that for some research that you're going to be doing soon. Okay. So once you have those done, then I'd like you to take out the next sheet, which is the fill in the blank. The name means your name at the top. So when I see this, I'll know it's yours. And I have 4 statements here, okay? They're not questions, that's why there's periods at the end, but they're a statement. And the first one says, an animal I would like to learn more about is a, or is an, you tell me. And there's a line there for you, okay? Now, all of these are going to be now about the animal that you're choosing. The reason that I'm sending these out, and there's a few of them, but I wanted you to have all the options. In class, we would have all of these options, and there's animals listed below on all of the word searches that belong in that particular habitat. So this is the tundra, which we've talked about, the Arctic fox, the caribou, a polar bear, the Arctic hare. Those are animals that live in the tundra, and they eat certain kinds of food that are there. An example of another one is the rainforest animals, okay? So we have parrots and frogs and a gorilla, a toucan, an alligator, a lemur, a tiger, a boa, and a jaguar. I already can see who's excited about those animals in particular. I know who's going to be excited about those. So these are all listed here so that you can do the word search and you get used to thinking about the animals that belong in those certain habitats. And I want you to be aware where your animal is because you're going to research this animal. You're going to tell me lots of things about this animal. So then you can tell me then on statement 2, this animal lives in the habitat called, you choose, it's your choice. The same animal you chose, this habitat that it lives in is located in, so it could be an area, it could be a country. So I want you to tell me where your animal is located. Where is that habitat located? So if you're picking the prairies, it's located in the prairie provinces of Canada. Or if you're picking the ocean, you would say it's off the coast of British Columbia. Or if you're picking the Atlantic Ocean, it's off the coast of Prince Edward Island. Okay, all of those places out in the East Coast. So you decide where your animal is from. And the last one, I want you to start thinking about this, and we're going to talk more about it the next time I get to talk with you. This animal is considered to be a predator or prey? Yeah. We've had those words in spelling. I know you know what they mean. We've talked about the meanings for those. We've put them into sentences. So a predator is somebody who hunts down another animal for its meal. And the prey is that animal being hunted. So for example, can you think of an animal who is a great predator? Yeah, like a polar bear would be a big predator, right? And so what is the prey that it would go for? Sure, a polar bear, we already heard, lives in the tundra. So it would go for a seal, right? Maybe some salmon up there or some other fish, cold water fish that lives up there. So I want you to research your animal and tell me, is it a predator or a prey? If they're really, really big animals, they're considered to be at the top of something we call the food chain, because nothing else really is going to eat a polar bear unless a human hunts the polar bear. And what kind of people live in the tundra up in the Northwest Territories, in the Yukon and Nunavut? Yes, we have the Eskimo people that live up there, right? And so they hunt the seal, they hunt the polar bears for lots of reasons, and they use the complete animal for their meat and their clothing, much like the Stolo people did, right? The Inuit people, or Eskimos, Inuit is the word nowadays to say, is that they actually take care of that animal when they hunt it. It's used for all of their purposes. It's not wasted. So I want you to think about that, okay? And thinking down the food chain. Let's talk a little bit about the food chain to give you a helping hand with that idea. I gave you the example of a polar bear. Well, here's another one, and I've already pre-written it out for us. Okay? So the food chain, it just means think about who's at the top of the food chain in your habitat, and how does that work its way down? Well, let's see. Let's say the eagle is at the top of the food chain. Not much else would be eating eagle unless a human captures it or shoots it, right? So think of other animals. So when the eagle's flying around, he's usually looking for small mammals, little mammals, like a rabbit. Let's say he chooses a rabbit to eat. So he eats the rabbit up. Now I want you to think about the rabbit for a minute. Yes, he was the prey, but this is how it works in an ecosystem where different species live together and they coexist. And the rabbit, what did the rabbit eat? What was his food? Right, he eats grass or carrots. Well, these are plants, and we've just studied all about plants, right? And each one of these has a root system, and they were planted in soil where they got nutrients, and they use the sun for energy to make photosynthesis, right? And all of those nutrients went into the rabbit as he was eating them. And then now the eagle eats the rabbit, and the eagle gets all the nutrients from these plants as well. So this is quite a food chain, isn't it? And the eagle happens to be the big predator at the top, and the rabbit would be the prey. And this is the ecosystem that they live in. They have grass and carrots and trees, so they live in a forest, right? So that's how the word food chain works for us. And it's a very interesting way to identify your habitat and your animals and the people that live there. So that's all I have for this week, but I can show you some more, kind of wild cards to give you pictures of what an animal might be that you want to study. Whoa, how about a tiger? Think about its habitat. Is it a predator or is it the prey? Oh, Mrs. Zezeki's favorite, a giraffe. Is it a predator? What does it eat? Does it eat plants only, or does it eat other animals? Oh, how about the zebras? Yes, think about that. What's their habitat? Where do they live? What do they do? Are they predators or are they prey? Well, the elephant. And how about the rhinoceros? How about the camel? Oh, the gorilla. Okay, what does he eat? Is he a predator Is he a predator or is he a prey? And last but not least in this kingdom, the lion. Yeah, think about that. So I want you to zoom in. I want you to choose an animal that you're going to be able to research and to give me some information on. And we'll talk more next time about what that will look like. But start now by filling in the blank of the animal you choose. And you can use the back to fill in any more information that you find, because you're going to report and research this animal for me, okay? And we would be doing this in the classroom as well. So I want you to think we've now moved on from plants to how plants exist in an ecosystem, and they have a habitat. They belong to a habitat, and there's animals and people and plants that live and coexist together. We're all living things in the same place. Okay, so enjoy that for now. Bye for now, and we'll see you next time, guys. Okay, bye-bye.